This is a follow-up video to my first video on the 15/6. This is more of a discussion on why 15/6 is associated with the occult. Now, I started looking at this because I've heard this 15/6 in the occult a lot, and I have a prominent 15 in my birthday. So I've been very fascinated with it and trying to understand it because from a numerologist perspective, it's not, on the surface, it's not an obvious occult number. Like I would consider more occult numbers like the number 7, the number 8. These to me strike me as much more occult numbers. So the 15/6 though, there's a couple ways of looking at this. There's one numerologist, GG33, who uses more of the Pythagorean and also gematria, where he says, so 15, O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, and O is the primary energy of occult, the word occult. So occult and O and 15 are connected in this way. That's great. He's one of the first guys who's kind of brought some level of like, why is 15/6 with the occult? Why does everyone keep saying that? That made sense to me. However, just like every number has different ways of healing, because they say, oh no, 6 is the healing number, 4 is the healing number. They all have their own ways of healing. So 4 knows what to take away, what to remove, to create healing, to create an optimization. 6 knows how to bring coherence. It knows how to create such harmony that healing happens. 7 knows how to create healing because it can see behind the curtain. It can see the truth of what's going on and understand it. 8 can create healing by bringing integrity, by bringing you the karmic memory, the memory or information, and helping you to change that, help you to integrate it into your conscious personality. 9 can do this by taking action. 9 can be healing by just taking action, and it will calibrate things and make things whole and healthy. Like this, and also letting go of stuff. So like this, there's different ways of saying the occult with different numbers. So 15/6 in particular is a very interesting one. It is associated with the Devil's card in tarot. Very occult card, very interesting, that it kind of brings to mind demons and dark energies and stuff like this, right? Well, as you saw in my last video, if you haven't watched it, watch my first video on 15. I explained this. I'll give a quick recap. Why it's the Devil card is because it represents vices that we that we get bound to through our superficial. So 15/6, breaking it down, 5 is the director. It's the Shiva in this setup. 1's the Shakti, and 6 is sort of the effect. So the 5 is a curiosity. Now in imbalance, it's a very superficial curiosity. 5 is supposed to be superficial. It's not meant to be tied down in order to do its job of exchanging information to create alchemy. So, but in balance, it can be very like curious and go for that stimulation because 5 wants to be stimulated. It can go for a dopamine hits, more superficial ways of stimulating itself, drugs, sex. Things that, not that these are bad, none of them are bad, but of course it makes sense in a minute. However, the 6 in this 15/6 can bind them. 6 is a number of binding. It's the hexagram, because 6 is designed to bind. It's designed to create family, community, coherence. On the shadow, it can bind you to things that you probably don't want to be bound to. So what happens in 15/6, in the shadow of 15/6, one of the shadows is 5 is giving this pressure, as this restlessness to, just go entertain me. Like stimulate. And the 1, the Shakti of the number, goes out and just takes action on that. As soon as a 5 has a harebrained idea like, a butterfly, 1 will go get that done. Go get that done. So 5's like, I want to feel good or something like this. I don't feel good. I'm restless. I want to go and feel good. One thing, I get some drugs. Like go have sex or go start some drama. Because 15/6 is also the number of drama. And then the 6 here is showing a binding. So what happens is the 5, which is not supposed to be bound, will get bound. Now, on the flip side, of course, 6 is also a number of responsibility. So this can be, there's just like any number, there's no number that's inherently bad or no number that's inherently good. They both have positives and negatives, or shadow and light sides. So wrapping this back around, all that was to say about 15/6 in the occult. 15/6 is a number or an energy that can help you see other people's demons, which are their vices, their addictions, their ways of coping with restlessness. So rather than find purpose in the change, which is 15/6 on the higher level, find a purpose and change, find a direction, find some clarity, and then creating responsibility, also creating healing, harmony, a groundedness, it can create a binding effect. So it can show that. So someone who has a 15-6, who's been able to master that energy, for example, will be able to see that in other people. So it's a 15-6, in short, is the occult awareness, potentially, of where people's demons are, where they're binding themselves, what they've been bound to through addictions, and that can be unknown. So the way it works in compound numbers with Chaldean in particular is there's a level of awareness within the number. So the 1 and the 5 is a higher awareness within 15-6. There's actually 9 total diamonds within 15-6, including the 15, and 3 different levels of physical, emotional, spiritual. So it gets very, very complex, and there's a lot of information you can unpack. It's like a zip file that you can unpack and see different ways of looking at it. But in short, 6 is the conscious awareness within 15-6. So if it says to say your birthday number, and you're limited to the 6, you're missing the 1 and 5, you're on an autopilot. So for example, someone with a 15-6 has their birthday, let's say, who's not aware of how the 15-6 is operating, it could be very, very easy for them to get addictions, to get addicted to things. Addictive personalities, and generally speaking, depending on how you're brought up and what kind of people around, this may result into addictions, particularly in drugs, or addictions to like sex types of addictions. Could be especially food type of addictions as well, because 6 is the spiral energy down. It's a lot of its energies in your sacral, your solar, your stomach, and your root chakra energy. So when you feel like, say, insecure, when you feel that energy, you don't know why, but there's something in you just like restless. I don't feel like secure. Let me get some food. Let me get some drugs. Let me do something like this to help me, make me feel good, make me feel grounded in a superficial way. So you can see why the importance of numerology is. Numerology is such a gift. It's a key. So I commented this, I think, in the past, at least on the side conversations. I've been doing spiritual work for 10, 12, I think 13 years at this point. And now that I have the Chaldean numerology in front of me, I'm able to look at it and say, oh my God. And in hindsight, I look at my path and everything starts to make sense. And the moral of this was, if I would have had this Chaldean now, or earlier on, and it would have stuck with it, this would have given me a fast track to understanding what exactly I need to be doing. Because most of the time you spend time trying to figure it out. You're groping in darkness. You don't know what's going on. Chaldean numerology can show you this to the very, very precise detail. And so this is a really, really cool system. So I definitely highly recommend looking into it if you want to have do readings, or I have several reports, which I should talk about at some point. But they're amazing. The first report is about showing you how you've been conditioned and developed from a young person, and how you kind of built different layers of compensation, which you can read all that in your birthday. The second report is about how to expand your awareness, where to expand your awareness from being, instead of just that conscious awareness, into what's actually going on, and then the codes to actually balance that stuff out. The third report is about how to integrate all this back into your conscious identity, becoming the hero, which is all based on the hero's journey, which is an archetypal story of the soul. There's another report about your life path that really drills into the most minutious detail of your life path. These are all different readings as well. And I have readings about how your birthday is. So say you're born on the 15th, but there's a way of looking at your hour and your minute to see how that 15 is very, very different, and what are some of the unique qualities of that 15. And like this, there's many different ways of looking at this. You can also do research. Numerologistpro.com is a source I highly recommend for Chaldean numerology. They have a lot of great information. It's who I did my master's certification for essence numerology, and whom I'm doing a master's certification for name change numerology, and also business numerology. Highly recommend them. Great resource. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, leave in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, if you found something good in this video, give it a like. And as always, wishing you the best. Talk to you next time. God bless.